everyone have a good evening? Was it Tuesday night? At the
Yes.
before? That was
It
very
was
Yeah,
nice.
very nice.
That was a great event.
We're not live on TV, are we?
No.
Okay.
Good, thank
Good. That's
goodness.
good. Yes, I was saying that I went to the dessert line way too much, but that's okay.
Sandy didn't get there, but that was okay too.
What event was that?
The advisory board did.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Ready?
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and call the May 2nd, 2019 Library Advisory Board meeting to order. First,
2002nd,
oh, what did I say?
19th.
May 2nd, 2019? Okay, we'll do that again. We'll call to order the May 2nd, 2019 Library Advisory Board. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I apologize, I missed that, and it seems like we had the chair and vice chair missed that, so that's rare. And moving on, I don't see that there's any citizens to be heard that are any items not on the agenda. And we'll move on to new business. We'll discuss the future library closure for an event details.
Yes, I just have one update, and this was a recent change in schedule. I guess St. Pete used to host the 97X barbecue bash in St. Pete, and for some reason unknown to me, they have now moved it to Coachman Park. So that will be May 18th. It's a Saturday, and it's a very vibrant event. It's all day, and so the main library will have to close for that event, just because the crowds and whatnot.
parking.
So it will be closed for May 18th, and then of course July 4th for the city holiday. And the next item is discuss summer reading programs. The youth services team has been planning for a great summer reading program again this year. They'll begin the beginning of June and end the end of July. The main library is going to be another break spot, hosting another break spot program. And what that is, if you remember from last year, it's a grant supported by the JWB to offer lunch Monday through Friday for teens and children under 18, 17 and under, and also an afternoon snack. And we have it in the cafe area, and I think this is our third year of doing this, and it's been very, very popular. So we're very excited to be able to host that again this year. And this year it's a space theme, so there's so many opportunities for children and teens for special programs. We're doing telescope programs, astronomy. So it's a really interesting theme that we can do a lot of really cool and innovative programming for. So we're just looking forward to another great summer reading. Keep kids reading throughout the summer. So I'll be happy to report back after the summer reading about the success that we've always had. So
Prevent the summer slide.
the summer slide, yes.
Is that all summer long or just a month or two? Or
Our summer reading program?
Yeah.
It starts in the beginning of June and ends like the end of July.
July. Gives them a
And
couple
then right
months
after
of-
that, I don't know exactly when school resumes the next school year. Usually it's the mid-August, but we are hosting what we've done in the past 3 years, book bashes, where we give children and teens backpacks and school supplies with the generous support of our Library Foundation, who helps us offset the costs of that. Last year we did book bashes at Ross Norton and our East Library, and this year I wanted, because there's such a great need countywide, in our community, that I wanted to have it at every location. So we're doing book bashes at every single Clearwater Library location. So we're really excited about that.
What is it called?
Book book bash. It's a back-to-school book backpack school supply giveaway. Yes.
I do have to say, Jennifer, as an elementary school teacher, anything that you can do to keep kids reading through the summer makes such a difference.
Absolutely, I agree. There's been a lot of studies done about what David said about the summer slide, and if we can just keep kids and young children.
Absolutely, is wonderful.
Plus, offering them lunch and snacks is so vital because some of these
Absolutely.
kids go hungry in the summer.
Absolutely, agreed. So,
Have the Pinella schools done the same kind of a study that they did in Hillsborough, which identified reading as perhaps the major reason why the graduation rate was so dismal?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I'm not sure. I can look into that.
It would be, I don't know. I think that it is really important as far as reading is concerned.
Absolutely.
And more than anything, it's the love of reading that needs to be instilled. I mean, you have to want to read in order to read. And that's what libraries do, which the schools, in my opinion, tend not to do that.
I know there's been studies too, like the third grade reading assessment or test taking, that there's been a challenge that children are just not up to their grade level. And that goes all the way up to high school. So we really try to support the school's curriculum and really get children and teens into the library to read and help them learn to read or read better, at least at the grade level. So it's very important for us, early literacy. So next, we applied for an FLA award, Florida Library Association. Their conference is actually in 2 weeks. I will be going on May 15th. Unfortunately, we weren't selected for the award. I know. It was for our prison letter program. I don't know if I mentioned that to you before, but we were selected to provide a poster session at the conference. So the Clearwater Library System and our staff will be presenting a poster session about the program. And we really feel that, by showcasing our program, that more libraries around the state might be interested in doing the same thing. It really is a meaningful program. So next is Clearwater High School. It has been so successful. We were allotted 10 scholarships by the state of Florida. We used up all 10 scholarships. They gave us 10 more. So currently, right now, we have given 14 scholarships, and we have 6 more who are doing the pre-assessment right now, and we anticipate that they'll move forward and we'll be able to allocate the rest of the 6 by the end of the state's fiscal year, which is June to July. We don't know yet if the governor is going to continue or the state is going to continue to fund this program. We'll have to wait and see when the budget comes out and his veto list. But if it does get funded again, we will definitely continue, participating, offering this program. If it doesn't get funded, we will try to figure out a way to fund it internally, because it really is a great program. So to be continued. But I'm really hopeful that it will be funded again this year. So
Do you know how many scholarships were given out throughout the state?
I believe probably around 500 or 600. Now this is statewide, and of course the larger a library system is, the more scholarships they get. So if you're a large county system like Tampa, they're allotted more scholarships, obviously.
But we're talking about literacy, and if the parents are literate and education is important, it certainly flows down to their children.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've been heavily marketing this program, and it seems to be working for us. So we're really excited about that. And Comic-Con, that was held in March. We had another successful year. We almost had 2,000 people come to our Comic-Con. It's getting to the point where we're almost outgrowing our space here, but we really want to keep it the event here because it's just a natural fit. But it was a great program. The mayor came and opened the open ceremony, and it was just a great event. So we're started planning for next year.
It's almost interesting to think that we could, hit capacity in the library, right?
Yeah,
That's lovely.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Some things that aren't on the agenda because I wasn't sure of the status, but imagine Clearwater. As you've been probably reading in the papers or seeing in the council sessions, there was discussion about how big the band shell should be and the covering. So that has been decided. So we will be revisiting the library feasibility study. In fact, I have a meeting tomorrow with Michael Delk, the acting assistant city manager, to resume discussions about the feasibility study for the main library. So I'll definitely update you for our next meeting to see where we are with that. So, and as you know, the deputy city assistant city manager is going to Pinellas County, Jill Silverboard. So Micah Maxwell will be taking her spot temporarily, and like again, Michael Dell from planning and development will be acting city manager as well. So, and he will be responsible for the Imagine Clearwater project. And then just another thing that's not on the agenda, the American Library Association annual conference is in June, so I'll be going to Washington, D.C. at the end of June, which will be very hot, but it's always a great conference. I bring back a lot of great ideas from what other libraries are doing, so I'm really excited to be able to attend again this year and go back to DC. So, the next thing for the foundation update, once again, the foundation and the Friends will be supporting our summer teen interns. And they primarily help out with our summer reading programs with our youth services team. And we couldn't do many of the activities and programs we do without their help. So we're very grateful to the foundation and the Friends to contribute to be able to hire teens over the summer to help us out. And it's a great opportunity for teens. A lot of times, they've been volunteers. This is their first job. And it really promotes lifelong, library users with the teens. So it's just a great program. We're grateful that they'll fund it again this year. And then the Friends, the library update, they had a book sale in March. And it was a little different in setup this year because obviously this is now council chambers, so they used half the room here and all of the cafe. And they did really well. I think they made over $2,000. And I've been told that actually having it out in the cafe drew more people in and was more visible for people instead of, because usually they just had it in this room. So I think they really had a really successful book sale, splitting it up. So that really worked out well. And then upcoming on May 25th will be a Library Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon at Countryside Library. I believe that's at 1 o'clock, and that's just to recognize and thank our system-wide volunteers for their efforts and their time and their help. So that will be sponsored by the Friends of the Library.
You said May 25th?
May 25th, yes.
Who sponsors at the library?
I'm sorry?
Who sponsors that?
The Friends of the Library, yes.
I've gone to that before. Are we invited to go then, or?
Oh, absolutely, sure, absolutely. They handled the invitations, so I don't know if they sent out invitations or not, so I can check up on that, so, yeah. And lastly, just, I think I mentioned before, we submitted our preliminary budget for fiscal year 1920. It's a status quo budget, so no additional changes, no additional FTEs. I did submit a CIP for a library vehicle, which will be a small library bookmobile. So it'll be a large transit van. It's not going to be a traditional bookmobile. So we're really increasing our outreach efforts, and we're bringing, pop-up library, 3D printers, and all different kinds of stuff. And having a vehicle would really help us with transportation and just promoting the library at the outreach events. So I don't know if that will get approved, so I think I have a meeting next week to defend and justify my request, so fingers crossed.
Do you envision it to be like going into neighborhoods with books? Is that what you're thinking, or?
That is a possibility, yes. So a lot of the areas in Clearwater where you don't have a library nearby, we would go in either with books or books and technology or maker studio equipment. So hopefully that will get approved.
But you're focusing on like events, citywide events that where you need to have a visible,
Absolutely.
that's one of the things, is to have visibility, and the vehicle creates that visibility.
Absolutely. It certainly does. Right now, we go to city events and we have a table and, we do
Right.
stuff. This would allow us, to have a larger presence and then be able to bring more of our services out into the community, whether it's a citywide event or not. It's just something, a library event. So I'm really hopeful that it will be supported.
Would it be wrapped or something in special?
I
paint?
certainly hope so.
Yeah,
I had
me
visions
too.
in my head of a nicely wrapped, and it's great for, even going to workshops or whatever to drive around for good.
Right,
company.
everybody sees you on the road.
Absolutely, absolutely, so.
That was my thought as well. And, that's something too that you can, I'm sure there's many entities out there that are doing wraps, and,
Oh,
the
sure.
wraps have become almost, because at the end of the day, as far as painting a vehicle and not, so to be able to do a wrap and maybe even get someone to, sponsor in or volunteer with that, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep us up to date on the van.
Yes.
Maybe even Barnes and Noble.
Possibly, sure. So,
Bright and colorful, and
Yeah.
here they come.
here we are, driving around town. So, do you have any other questions for me, or this is our first year that we're not building a library, we're not planning to build a library, so it's a nice breather year for us
Got your tiles in.
to reflect. We want to work on a strategic plan, update that. Of course, I imagine Clearwater, we'll see as we resume the discussions about that.
How'd you find the overall process of the carpeting?
Seamless. In fact, they were ahead of schedule. They did a great job. So we're really happy with the
Looks
outcome.
nice.
Yeah,
Very good.
it really does. So, and it's amazing. They had hydraulic lifts that lifted our large book stacks and actually relocated them. So they didn't carpet around the book stacks. So they did a great job. So. And having our room as city council chambers has been really successful. It's brought a lot of more people into our building, and people who have never been here or who don't come here often. They're just amazed at what we have to offer. So it's really been a good thing for us. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you. Is there any board members that have anything they'd like to share?
I just want to mention one thing. I'm with a group that holds meetings over at the East Library once a month. Whatever flag they had here that was in this room, or whatever library they should have, whatever flag they should have for their library, has been lost somewhere. And I just happen to know the East Library needs an American flag. They can't, really, ever.
They don't have a flag?
We've been meeting there all year. They don't have a flag.
Maybe we could reach out to Councilmember Cundiff.
Yep, no.
He'll have a
Well,
flag there in the
that's
meeting.
something because of.
Because I've emailed Edward Tumber back and forth, and
Huh.
he said, I guess it has to be ordered, or you know, so
They should be able to get one that's.
if you could check on that.
Or something like that, since it's a library.
Yeah, because usually someone will donate a flag to a library, so,
And in that kind of setup too, I would probably have to go through SBC.
okay.
So I'll follow up with.
Oh, okay,
them.
okay. I wasn't sure what the process was, but I thought, this is obviously the place to ask.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I will follow up with that. So, yeah. All right, thank you.
If you reach out to Cundiff, you probably have a flag in a day.
Awesome, yeah.
That's one of his passions, so.
Yeah.
All right, well then, short and sweet today, and we'll adjourn.
So that you can get back to,
Now I need to go put on different clothes and go get this truck flipped out of the street.
Oh, my.
The rest of us will know not to go that way and be
Yes.
hindered.
Yeah, I think I'll go home Belcher.
Sunset should be good, but we're definitely going to close down Hercules.
Well, it certainly is different looking out the front door of the library.
It is.
Is that amazing?
Yes, yes.
Good luck.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
We'll see you, what, in August or, yeah, late in August?
Yeah, should be.
Oh, my goodness.
Heat of the summer.
Yes. Enjoy your
Have
summer.
a great day.
Stay
You
cool.
too.
Sorry to run.
No, but thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great quarter, we'll see you in August.
This must be the record fast meeting. Sorry.
I've been going to all these meetings and I'm like, this is kind of like a breather for us.
Good to know, we're easy.
We're busy, but.
Charge to the move